All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we are going to talk about Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s contract details leaking and absolutely trashing arguments made by Terence Crawford and why he did not take the Errol Spence Jr. fight. Let's talk about that. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to review a conversation that took place, or actually an interview that was released yesterday, which addressed issues around Terence Crawford and offers that were made to him to fight Errol Spence Jr. on Showtime, and a question that was asked of Stephen Espinoza, who then revealed details of at least a very high level detail of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Gervonta Tank Davis's fight contracts with Showtime, which would, if people were normal, but they're not, if they were reasonable, but they're not, would put to bed certain claims being made around why Terence Crawford did exactly what he said he was going to do, which is not take that fight. Now, before I get into that, though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. Also, if you are a longtime subscriber and supporter, thank you so much for your continued support on the channel. In this particular video, we are going to pretty much, just try to tell you something that is obviously not that common, which is common sense. But we're going to add a little bit to the common sense and share a fact that was shared by Stephen Espinoza in an interview. Now, first and foremost, Stephen Espinoza, it runs boxing and MMA programming for Showtime. And he is responsible for paying money to big name fighters for over at least the last 8 years, I do believe. Probably longer than that. He may have been there over 10 years now, because I think he was the original one that signed Floyd Mayweather Jr. to that 6-fight deal with Showtime. However, along that, he was asked a question about, well, what about when he was talking about Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr.'s fight not taking place? And he honestly gave a lot of very interesting information. Oh, sorry about that. Dog went barking, went berserk. So anyway, back to it. Floyd Mayweather Jr. Was with Stephen Espinoza. Stephen Espinoza was asked about the Terence Crawford fight and whether or not, what was the explanation for him not getting a guarantee? And Stephen Espinoza said something that was very revealing. After he turned his nose up, which was like, look like, because, people's face, you can't speak through your body language, like my body language right now about this whole subject. Says, look, without giving any details to what went on, people have only been getting guarantees for pay-per-views for maybe the last 3 years, and said that Gervonta Davis has fought pay-per-views with no guarantees, and that Floyd Mayweather Jr. fought pay-per-views with no guarantee. So the idea that people were not able to make big fights or big pay-per-views because there was no guarantee given is not true, is what Stephen Espinoza said. And he cited the case of Gervonta Davis and Floyd Mayweather Jr. Now, here is where, because people don't really ask, in my opinion, some of the questions that will really flush out what he means, because the people that are asking him, and this is no fault of the people that are asking him, but the people that are asking him these questions are boxing videographers, right? Their training and their expertise is in asking questions filming them, uploading them, selling it to whoever it is that's buying it, whatever the case is. They're journalists. They are not MBAs. They're not management consultants. They're not people that negotiate fights and really are able to answer follow-up questions. However, this is a question, this is an issue that I explain on my live stream about the difference between an advance and a guarantee. And under what circumstances would you want what circumstances and what the effect of a guarantee is? A guarantee is where you tell somebody you are going to make no less than this amount of money. I promise you that I am going to pay you this. Now, if a guarantee is $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, that's your guarantee, right? Then that is saying that we're going to give you that for sure. There is a difference between that and you playing upfront money, which will count against your pay-per-view, right? So in the case of an advance, you're giving them some money, but that money is that purse is going to get paid to you. However, it's going to count against your pay-per-view sales down the road. So Floyd Mayweather Jr. may have gotten a purse for $10 million, $20 million, but that does not mean that was a guarantee. It could mean that if we paid you $20 million up front, or we paid you not up front, because up front would be before the fight, but we give you $20 million as a purse, right? But if the fight does not generate enough money for you to get paid $20 million, you may actually have to pay me some of that money back, right? So your purse can act as an advance, or it could act as a guarantee. So I think sometimes when people see purse, because this is the only way that this makes sense with what Stephen Espinoza said, when people talk about your purse and how much money you're going to make for that fight, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to keep all that if that fight you're not going to be required to pay some of that back if the fight doesn't make certain thresholds, or that you're going to get your purse plus a percentage of the pay-per-view, and they're not going to account for that, however much money that purse was, and say they pay you $5 million for a guarantee, or not for a purse, excuse me. They pay you $5 million for a purse, and then they say we're going to give you 30% of the pay-per-view, but they're not going to count any of the pay-per-view until that 30% goes over the $5 million or whatever it is that they paid you as a purse. In that case, and if you don't make that, you got to pay it back. So in that scenario, you can get a purse, but not have it guaranteed. And in a live stream that we did today, Gervonta Davis's camp made a very, very interesting statement, because they didn't argue about the fact about whether or not they were getting guarantees or not. They say, why would we care about a guarantee when we know the event's going to sell? We know that we're going to make this amount of, we trust very much that we're going to make this much money in a gate. Like, we know we're going to sell out this. We know we're going to sell out Capital, the Capital One Arena. And we know our gate is going to be over 5 million. We know that, feel very, very comfortable that we're going to do over 250,000 pay-per-views at $80 a pop. We feel very comfortable that we're going to wind up walking out of here with $15 million. And our ability to sell is only guarantee that we need. We don't need for you to tell us you're going to pay this money to us and we don't have to give it back if it flops, because we don't believe it's going to flop. We just want to get paid out of the money that the fight earns, because we earn money in all our fights. And the only people that really need that guarantee are people that are not confident in the fact that their fights are going to generate that type of money, right? So in the case of Terence Crawford, who's fighting on a budget, then yeah, he's going to get a paycheck and he's going to get a guarantee, because there is no extra money coming out of that other than the money that's coming from the budget. So yeah, you're going to be guaranteed the $2 million or the $4 million purse that you're paid by Top Rank, because there is no risk that Top Rank is carrying, because the money's already coming from already being paid by the network. But if you're doing something where you have a pay-per-view and the network says, okay, we're going to give you, contribute this amount of money for the fight to buy the, I don't know whether it is the rights that you get for buying the fight, whatever the calculation is that whatever they call what the network pays, but everything above and beyond that, you're going to get the majority of your money out of pay-per-view. They very well may be in a scenario, and according to Steven Espinoza, that's exactly what Gervonta Davis and Floyd Mayweather Jr. did. So again, according to him, that's business as usual and not some real crazy thing. So, but why would they start giving guarantees to fighters on pay-per-view? I think that that's explainable, easily explainable, because you see that they said it's been taking place for the last 3 years. And for the last 3 years is when Showtime started putting on fights that people had to wonder why it's on pay-per-view, because you know there's not a big demand for it. So they guarantee them a certain amount of money and allow them to earn extra money as it comes in off of the pay-per-view. But that particular fighter isn't going to say, okay, yeah, I'm going to fight for nothing when I don't believe the pay-per-views are going to sell. So it seems to me that it is that the issue of a guarantee versus, you know, a non-guarantee really is just the amount of faith that a boxer has and whether or not they're going to be successful or not. That pay-per-view is going to be successful or not. So so Terence Crawford's willingness or not willingness to do that really just speaks to whether or not he thinks the fight is going to sell and whether or not he's willing to take any risk in that regard. But anyway, that's what he said. That's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.